Greetings, everybody. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to our guests on our Digital Open Day. My name is Dr. Matthew Allen, and in a moment I'll explain precisely what my role within the courses are, but I just want to spend a few moments saying what the aims and purpose of this event are. We will be covering some of the key features and highlighting specifically what we think makes the BA Business and Management, BA Marketing and BA Human Resources Management degrees distinctive at the University of Leicester School of Business. My role within the courses is as program leader, so although I don't necessarily teach on every single module, I have a pretty good understanding of what goes on. It's my job to make sure the day-to-day running of the program is smooth and our students get the best experience of their education. I will be joined by a few other personalities throughout the course of this talk, and they're going to introduce themselves and their specific background as we proceed. So firstly, folks, let me introduce you to the School of Business and highlight some of its key features. There are three departments within the School of Business. We have Economics, Finance and Accounting department, responsible for our Economics and Accounting degrees. We have Marketing, Innovation, Strategy and Operations department, responsible for our BA Marketing. And we have the department I'm a member of, which is Work, Employment, Management and Organisations. Each of these departments have expert researchers and educators relevant to the specific topics and fields, and they're engaged in cutting edge research so that we can ensure that our programs are completely up to date and introducing our students to what really is at the cutting edge of their fields. We're a relatively humble, modest sized grouping of students and academics on campus. But our networks internationally through our distance learning programs, we have a lot of master's degrees that are studied by students all around the world, which means that we have 4,000 students at any one time, which means that we have a large legacy of alumnus students too, which means you can go anywhere around the world and mention University of Leicester School of Business, and the chances are by 3 degrees of separation, someone's going to say, aha, my cousin studied there too, or my brother or my uncle or whatever. So our reputation becomes part of our classmates' reputation too. I mentioned we're a modest grouping of academics within those departments, but we're a very diverse cohort of staff. I think at last count there was over 30 languages spoken across the staff body of the school. And really, we take that diversity, not only of cultural, ethnic, linguistic backgrounds of staffing, but also their unique, distinctive research expertise areas, and we drive that through the programs so that our syllabus is up to date and is totally unique because it rests upon the leading research our academics are engaged in. But we don't just then design courses top down. We put the students' needs at the centre through feedback, consultation, and continually updating our programmes on an annual basis so that they remain fresh. Where we're housed, the physical location, what the School of Business looks like, we moved into a new home last year, actually officially. Brookfield is the name of our campus. It's approximately a 10-minute walk, and it's quite a pleasant walk across Victoria Park from the main campus. And the School of Business students benefit from their own dedicated campus with lots of facilities that are exclusive to the business school students. So, for example, we have a mock trading floor where students can access Bloomberg terminals and take advantage of a short training package and even gain a certificate from Bloomberg in investment. So who knows, by the time you've finished your 3 years with us, maybe you're ready to retire already because you have that fantastic investment portfolio. Who knows? There's a cafe and a social hub and tons of study spaces specifically for our business students. We try to have the majority of classes take place on the Brookfield site, although we do like to mix it up as well, so students have good opportunity to integrate and engage with classmates on other degrees. There's nothing better than finding an economist talking to a political sciences student, or a marketing student chatting to a historian on the main campus over something to eat. So a little more focus and raising the profile of what we do from a research perspective. We're very proud to say that our education is research led, and that's not something that all universities can claim. Majority of members of staff within the School of Business are active researchers themselves, and they're publishing leading international research findings in widely respected, highly regarded academic scientific outputs, which places us as a university 35th in the country for our research quality, which means that when we publish at the University of Leicester, if we've got new findings about how the landscape of business, marketing and HR is shifting, then often practitioners, policymakers and others take notice of our research. And as I mentioned before, it is a diverse grouping of research interests. So right the way from digital technology, which happens to be my area of interest, and how that impacts upon the business landscape, what new organisations are doing to take advantage of digital technological advances, right the way through to asking important, sensitive questions from a HR perspective around, for example, what new policy innovations should companies have to ensure their inclusivity reaches, for example, women experiencing menopause. This is research not done anywhere else, but our researchers have just established nationwide policy on particularly that topic. We have researchers looking at issues of racism in marketing. We have researchers looking at the what's called microfinance in all kinds of geographical regions around the world. So a really exciting range of topics are addressed by our academics, and these are precisely the topics we bring into lectures. So it's not just regurgitating textbook learning, but we use these as case studies to engage and to challenge our students to really apply their learning to a range of cutting edge arena. Our degrees have additional accreditation. All three that I've mentioned there, business and management, marketing and human resource management courses, once our students graduate from final year, they will have picked up enough credits to take away accreditation from the Institute for Leadership and Management, and I think that that's an ILM level 4 accreditation in leadership and management. And our BA marketing will have the Chartered Institute of Marketing recognition, and our HR degree also comes with CIPD, which is the Chartered Institute of People and Development. So there are hidden Easter eggs and little bonuses at added value for doing our degrees, and our students automatically pick up those additional credentials. There's no additional examinations, providing that they pass the modules that these are tied to. That's an automatic advantage. So let me explain particularly the area that's very close to my heart, and that is the business and management degree. Very oftentimes during these open days, I'm asked, well, what precisely is a business and management degree? And I want to be specific. I think the programme benefits from a really unique blend of practical challenges and applied learning, ranging from, for example, in the first year, I have classes where I explain and discuss aspects of negotiation, how to use body language and interaction to effectively negotiate, right the way through to final year, where I talk about more, have an optional module, and I talk about more seemingly abstract issues like power relationships in workplaces. But it's amazing how practical talking about power becomes. Who leverages power over who is excluded in organisations, And what strategies can recent graduates adopt in order to overcome some of the informal gaming that goes on in workplaces? So I hope that this gives you a quick flavour of what I mean by the unique blend of both being very practical, but also research and theoretically informed. There are opportunities right the way throughout business and management to engage with practitioners. In the second year, I developed a module called Consultancy Challenge, where our classmates will meet 5 leading practitioners and solve problems for them. They become their consultants and the external practitioners are their clients. And that's just one example. We have an additional final year module now, which is focused around the issue of sustainable development. And again, a similar model, 5 expert practitioners come in. Their organisations, for example, we met the major incident manager from Selfridges last week, and she needs her organisation to be more sustainable. And our classmates write practical solutions and reports for how to achieve that. And right the way throughout the degree, I hope that you've already picked up or have intuited, we don't do this just because we think it's fun to challenge our students in this way, although actually the feedback we get is that it's very enjoyable having this practical engagement. But it's all about professional development, how to communicate with professionals and practitioners, how to explain practical solutions, also how to persuade, how to convince, how to use evidence in order to ensure that their pitch is the one that's going to be chosen. Here's a quick snapshot of our actual syllabus. So in the first year, in fact, I'll explain this, and this way my colleagues talking about BA marketing and when we come back to HR won't need to. Every one of the business students, and that includes the degrees for BA HR and BA marketing, will study the same modules in year 1. There are 8 modules, and these range from introduction to management, to principles of marketing, to managing human resources. And this is really so every student gets a fair grounding in the fundamentals of their discipline. This is to make sure that all students, regardless of what background they're coming from, whether they've studied business before or not, can have the same starting point in their studies. But also it comes with an added advantage. It means that at any point throughout year 1, if our students want to swap from BA business and management to BA marketing, or from BA HR to BA marketing, they have that complete freedom. It's almost like a revolving door because they're all studying the same modules. And we deliberately designed things that way so that it adds that flexibility. We know that you haven't studied marketing at university level before you arrive through our doors. And it would be unfair then to lock you in to the next 3 years of studying marketing if you have that lecture on introduction to management that blows your mind and think, wow, this is what I want to do in the future. So we make it easy for you to transfer across, and there's absolutely no additional or hidden cost to doing that, and it's open for the entirety of the first year and the first 2 weeks of year 2. Year 2, we have that consultancy challenge module that I just mentioned, and also our classmates will be introduced to some fundamentals in strategic thinking and decision making through the strategy module, and most importantly, they'll be learning about the broader business environment, how states, governments, authorities, NGOs, charities, how this whole mix of the economy works together or doesn't work together at times and creates opportunities or changes the potential for new emerging business models. In the final year, there is a great degree of optionality for our BA business and management students. They can choose from a range of optional modules, which, for example, includes my Power at Work module, which I was just explaining, right the way through to things like crisis management and business in the digital economy. It's in the final year that our classmates will either do a dissertation or a business project. And this is what we consider to be in many ways the crowning jewel of the degree. Our classmates will work for the entirety of the year on their dissertation or business project. They will have a supervisor who they work one-to-one with, And the outcome or output of this work is a 10,000 word document, which can seem daunting from the outset and in year one, when at that point the academic writing skills are just developing. But we support our classmates right the way through. So supervisors will set goals. They have an additional research methods module to support on how to do that. Progressing through all of those things, hopefully our classmates have picked up a whole wide range of professional skills and also that ILM accreditation, which I mentioned. I'll hand over now to Lucas, my colleague, who's going to introduce himself and say a few words about what makes BA Marketing distinctive.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you for Matt for exciting explanation about the offering in business and management. You can see it's actually quite exciting program. But in marketing, we can say we are trying to make things more specific to the execution about how to be a strong marketer. So for instance, before you learn about principles of marketing, we tap into how to understand consumers, how to actually understand their needs, wants, and barriers, and also how to actually communicate with them. And also we got some branding related training that helped you to understand like what kind of strategy you can do for branding to reach out to your consumers and try to build up a brand relationship. So you can see for marketing and also the management, the key differences is in marketing, we are more in supporting about what kind of tactical actions you can actually do to actually engage and also communicate with your target customers. So that's basically the big differences between marketing training and also the other training offered at our school. But in general, as Matt said, basically, the first year you are taking exactly the same modules. That means you have the room to think about what kind of program of study actually attracts you more. So second year, within the first 2 weeks, you can actually have the chance to choose the module, choose the program that actually suits you. So that's a very, very simple explanation about what marketing is about. And let's go to the next page, please. So basically in marketing, so you can see for the first year of the study, it will be exactly the same with all the programs. That's our intention. But for the second year, for instance, you will see some exciting modules like consumer behavior, which is the one I'm actually leading. We got about marketing communications, thinking about what extent you can actually engage with consumers and also what are the key metrics to understand. And the same as digital media and marketing intelligence is very similar to research methods. So we have the big professor, her name is Paul Bain. Literally, he's actually leading this module, and also he will give you all the up-to-date theory and practical thing to do the research. And also we got brand management, which is another Dr. Christina Forna. She's actually the module leader. She will teach you in terms of what are the best strategies to build the other brand. And then for the final year, basically, you can see we have some kind of core and optional modules. So basically, after second year, you can understand about what particular agenda, what area in marketing you are more interested in too. So for instance, if you are more into the creative marketing, we actually have a module called Strategies for Creative Marketing. If you are more into service marketing or cultural production, we also have a very like tailored content for you to understand the key theories and also the practices. So it's very similar to the management program as well. That's literally in the final year, you're either choosing dissertation or business project. And again, we usually have option there. We want to inform you about what modules about, what are requirements. You definitely can have the full understanding before making your choice. And lastly, just as Matt just said, basically a few of modules actually in our program is being accredited in CIM, ILM. That means if you want to take a further accreditation, some of the modules actually can be exempt. I think the next slide comes to another very exciting module about a program about HRM business. I think Matt's going to tell you more about what HRM is about. Thank you.
Lucas, thank you very much for that. Yes, absolutely. So HRM is an intellectual and practitioner field that focuses on the question of the role of the human dimension within workplaces, and in particular human needs, ranging from needs for inclusivity, needs for protection, the implementation and fair execution of employment legislation. And this, of course, ranges from those organisations that are private for-profit through to the public sector, such as government offices and charity organisations. So by the time our classmates have graduated in BA HRM, they have a robust and comprehensive understanding of the legal dimension, the regulatory frameworks that they need to attend to and observe from a human resource practitioner perspective, but they will also gain a comprehensive and sensitive understanding of issues of diversity, inclusion, and perhaps from a more philosophical perspective, human behaviour, psychology, and needs such as occupational health and how to implement this fairly and effectively. So let's take a look at the programme structure itself. At risk of repeating ourselves, year one, the same 8 modules as our BA Marketing and BA Business and Management classmates will be studying, and we do that deliberately so it allows that flexibility for students to move between. Year 2 is where BA HRM starts to take on its own specific identity and focus. It's with specialist modules such as diversity in organisations, whereby a whole variety of initiatives and a whole variety of frameworks for understanding and meeting the challenges, but also opportunities of having diverse, oftentimes geographically distributed and culturally differentiated, for example, linguistically diverse teams working within the same organisation. Developing HR practitioner skills takes on a really practical dimension whereby, for example, this year I know the students have enjoyed doing mock tribunals and also mock recruitment processes, including interviewing their lecturers for fictitious jobs, which they particularly enjoyed watching the lecturers squirm under the spotlight, trying to present their skills as best as they can. And then in the final year, they have that mixture of research methods and dissertational business project, but this will be with a specialist focus for HR issues and HR challenges. And then the specific core modules and optional modules are also tailored for a HR focus. In semester 1, classmates at the moment are currently studying Power at Work with me. And in that module, I try to introduce quite a creative learning environment whereby most of the learning takes place through a series of bespoke learning videos that I've created on topics that range right the way from resistance and control in workplaces through to organisational misbehaviour, which is a fun one. Students often like to share their own anecdotes when they've either participated in or observed things like joking practices in their part-time jobs, right the way through to how the power dynamics of race, gender and sexuality enter our work environment. So it's a really unique syllabus, and the assessment is also unique because I ask students to pick a piece of media, film, television, and analyse the power dynamics that are going on within that using concepts and theories from the module. And this year we have students working on Peaky Blinders, The Godfather, Legally Blonde, How to Get Away with Murder, Suits, and a whole range of Netflix series that I'm sure you've wasted more than you'd like to admit watching, and didn't realise actually that these can be the key to learning more comprehensively and practically what goes on in the shadow power aspect of our workplaces. And then in the second semester, our classmates will pick up strategic human resource management, which builds upon that second year developing HR practitioner skills. It's a very practical and applied module whereby Students will be challenged to apply, for example, new policies into new workplace contexts and to navigate the potential implications, maybe resistance, and to write a report on how that will be executed fairly. Through the completion of these modules, our students not only get that same ILM, but also the CIPD accreditation. Now, all three of these degrees have the option for a year in industry. And what I want to say about that year in industry placement year is that you don't need to decide today. You don't need to decide before you enroll. First year at university, you settle in and you become familiar with the subjects, how to study the modules, and also you learn where your heart lies in terms of your subject. And if you want to transfer from marketing to HR, from HR to business, you can do exactly that. In the second year, our careers development team, we have a dedicated team within the business school who we do not share with the rest of the university. They're marvelous, inspirational figures. They will run a series of workshops preparing our classmates for the challenges of the application process and the selection process for a year in industry placement. And it's only in the second year that you then need to signal to the program leadership and the careers team, yeah, I want to take advantage of the placement year in industry, and they will make sure that you are ready through those workshops and coaching through the application that you get that year in industry. Now, I could talk a lot about the year in industry, but I haven't done it with the University of Leicester School of Business. But I believe we're joined today by one of our inspirational, talented classmates who have gone through the process. And actually what I'd like to do and prefer to do is hand over to Kira, our classmate, who will say a few words about their own experience undertaking the placement year. So Kira, over to you.
Thank you, Matt. Hi, everyone. I'm Kira. I'm on the BA marketing course and I've just come back from my year in industry. I worked in Samsung's European headquarters, like in their marketing department there, within 2 roles. So I've got quite a lot of experience in a really big company, in a year in industry, the support from the university, everything. So I'm just going to talk a bit about my experience as a student of the business school and as a year in industry student as well. So as I said, I completed it at Samsung at their European headquarters, and I actually moved down to like West London, Surrey area to complete that for the year. It is a paid opportunity, so you do get paid for the whole year that you're there. And it's such a valuable thing to do as part of your degree. It gives you so much exposure to the commercial world and it helps you put all of your academic knowledge into practice so that when you come back for your final year of university in the autumn, after you've completed it, you feel like such a well-rounded individual. You can see where all of these theories and all of this knowledge that you're being taught by your lecturers, you can see exactly where it is applied in the workplace. It's such a great opportunity and I'm such a huge advocate for it. The careers service that Matt mentioned, they have really great support there to help you source and complete a placement. They're there to support you every step of the journey. They also are year in industry mentors, so I'm one of them myself. And so it's a combination of the two, of a student who has completed a year in industry, as well as the staff who have got a wealth of knowledge about what exactly you need to do to secure a placement. It's a great support network from the uni, and they really want you to get the most out of your placement where you can. So it's such a great opportunity to undertake. But as Matt mentioned, you don't need to decide this before you come. It is something that you can decide to do as your degree program goes on. But it's a great program to do, and the support from the uni is really second to none.
Kira, thank you so much. I'll also add that in addition to that support network of the career development team and an assigned recent placement completee student, all of our out in placement students have a tutor as well attached to them. And the tutor, if it's feasible, will go out to their work location, their placement location and visit. If it's further afield, we have had international placements before, and as much as I would love to go visit our classmates working in the coffee industry in Sao Paulo, it just didn't fit with my teaching schedule. So we do keep in touch via video calls and regular updates that way, and that just gives us an opportunity not only to make sure that our classmates are safeguarded while they're out in a work environment, but also that they can talk through their reflections of how they're developing professionally and start to make sure that they have a firm grasp on the narrative that they will tell at a later time when they come to pursue graduate employment, of what skills they exactly developed in practice. Moving swiftly on, we also have a study abroad placement year scheme. This is open to all three of the degree areas too. And again, you don't need to decide now. In year two, if you signal to us that you're interested in possibly studying with one of our partner universities all around the world, and you just see a sample list there, we're ever adding additional placements, then you can go ahead and do that. And in a similar way, there is a study abroad tutor whose responsibility is to make sure that our partner institution looks after you and that you can make the most out of this opportunity. A typical week for our classmates will involve lectures. So if a classmate is studying 4 modules at the same time per term, then they'll likely have 4 2-hour lectures. 1 lecture per module. That's the main opportunity to be introduced to some of the core learning and syllabus, the core concepts, theories, ideas. Lectures themselves range from, for example, this week I had a panel discussion on the question of race and inclusion, and we had experts from our Black Excellence Network, as well as somebody who'd been researching racial discrimination in marketing, and that was an open discussion forum for our final year classmates. It kind of felt a little bit like a talk show, and I was the talk show host. Seminars are small group learning opportunities. There'll be a seminar tutor who is familiar with the module and understands the curriculum, and this is our chance to make sure in a smaller, more informal environment, classmates are supported and that they have the opportunity to test their understanding, to ask questions, to gain support in ensuring that they are familiar with the content of the module and that they're ready to apply this to any assessment that we have. Every module leader offers office hour drop-in, and you can book one-to-one appointments with the module leader, so that if you didn't want to raise a particular question or you wanted slightly more advanced feedback, let's say you were particularly interested in what this guy has to say about the gender politics of The Godfather 3, well then our classmates will book that or drop in during the office hour sessions, and we'll have a good old conversation about that. Our lecturing staff are routinely cited in the National Student Survey for being friendly and approachable, and this is a particular environment and atmosphere that we are really we think is vital for cultivating, and I think does separate out the University of Leicester from others. For instance, in week 1, I make effort to learn the names of all 70 of those students studying Power at Work with me. So when I see classmates, when I'm crossing from one side of our little humble but very wonderful Brookfield campus from one side to the other, and I see them in the cafe, I can say hello and I know them by name. There is tons of support, and this is absolutely crucial because it can't just rely on lecturers or research members of staff having the answers to every kind of challenge that could potentially present itself to classmates while they study. We know life happens while you're studying at university, which is why we have a range of wellbeing supports. We have a dedicated team that will run things ranging from mental health support and resilience workshops right the way through to academic support, such as what are the particular academic skills you need in order to do well in your assessments. We have this dedicated resource exclusive to business students on Brookfield. We have drop-in sessions that are available without prior booking. And we have experts from counselling right the way to from accessibility advisors. So we know that throughout the course of this oftentimes really vibrant, rapid personal growth and development journey that is doing a degree, unforeseen circumstances can come up. And so we've got the dedicated resource to respond to now what is a whole range of often quite complex situations. We've already noted and mentioned the careers team that are within the School of Business and dedicated only to our students, and they're extremely busy. They offer services from staffing a drop-in centre on Brookfield, where students without an appointment, I think from the hours of 10 to 4 every day, can simply rock up and say, hey, I've got an assessment centre or an interview tomorrow, I've got a video interview and I've never done this before. What tips, guidance, advice would you give me? And they offer workshops, coaching, and one of the highlights of the year is the Festival of Careers, whereby we have a whole host of employers from a rich variety of industries. I wouldn't do justice if I started to try to do name dropping of who attends the Festival of Careers, but very often this is where our classmates start to develop that industrial intelligence, that real sense of purpose, of exactly what kind of sector, profession they want to pursue going forwards. So that's the Careers Hub, open 11 o'clock, sorry, till 2 o'clock Monday to Friday. Students just drop in without an appointment on that. Whole host of opportunities for our classmates beyond the syllabus and curriculum. They could choose to become a course representative, especially for those HR classmates. This is a wonderful way to gain experience representing and advocating through democratic processes such as staff-student consultation, giving feedback. They become change leaders within their cohorts, right the way through to joining society. So we have a whole rich range of business related societies, from the management society right the way through to the investment society. And we really love running social events. Last night I was on campus until late because our HR classmates all got together with a judge from an industrial tribunal to socialise in a very, very informal way. It was really quite humbling to see this person with such status and reputation or prestige to come along and just enjoy a couple of drinks with our classmates in a friendly and informal environment. So the application process, many of you will be wondering, I have the entry requirements there. I'm not going to break them down in detail, but if you do have specific questions about how to convert your particular specific qualifications into what you see here, then please feel free to use the chat and go ahead and do that. So in a nutshell, let me summarise and wrap up. Why the University of Leicester? Statistically, enrolling and registering at the University of Leicester advantages our classmates over other graduates. And here are some statistics that I'm actually too humble to say out loud. I don't want to do the hard sell with you folks. I would much rather talk about the range of support and the more meaningful aspects of how our students experience their degrees. But my leaders tell me that we have to have this slide, so I wonder it may reassure or impress you. For me, it's particularly important. 94% of our graduates are in a job within 6 months or further study, so they're enrolled on a master's degree, and a good classification degree at the University of Leicester, I always say to our classmates in their final year, unlocks all the elite doors around the world. I have classmates that have gone on to both Cambridge and Oxford for their master's degree, London School of Economics. I coach somebody to go on to a really unique industrial apprenticeship master's degree, Warwick University, and we have students practicing investment stock portfolio management with Citibank in New York, through to studying a master's in philosophy and political economy at the world-leading Cambridge Business School, Copenhagen Business School. Business management, marketing and HRM. I'll just recap. We are researchers. We are studying our fields right now as they unfold. So what we teach in the classroom is informed by and led by what we're finding out and publishing at the cutting edge. There's tremendous flexibility built into all three of these programs. In one respect, so that students can transfer between in the first year, right the way through to once they have found their focus and their heart and aspiration for future professional development, they can then start to customize that particular degree through optional modules. And just to summarize and highlight what I was saying before, step onto Brookfield and you will notice that atmosphere of welcoming, inclusion, and a great atmosphere whereby students are hanging out, studying, or even supporting each other through what are the challenges of the next few months as they do their Christmas assessments. All right, folks, you've been tremendous in paying attention to this guy's brummy voice. Now it's over to you and a chance to ask any questions.
Thank you so much, everybody who's presented. I'm just going to stop sharing the presentation, so hopefully sending someone live. We have had a few in the chat. If any of them can be answered in the chat, because we've only got a couple of minutes, that would be great if anyone's able to answer those. But I will ask one, and whoever wants to answer, if you just shout your name and I'll send you live so everyone can see you. So there's a question that's come in that says, could you please let us know whether or not any part of the BA Business Management is exam based, and if so, how much is exam based?
Thanks, Daisy. I'll take that for sure. That's a great question because it helps me also explain the kind of the routine structure of what a year looks like. Every year typically has 8 modules, and roughly on balance for the BA Business and Management, there'll probably be about 2 exams per year maximum. So that is to say less than a quarter of your degree is actually based on examination. However, there is a small caveat, because I mentioned in the final year there are optional modules. Now, if you happen to choose more modules that have more examination based, that's possible, and of course that will change that statistic that I just loosely offered. So roughly on balance, the degree is more heavily weighted towards coursework, group work, report writing, essay writing. We have assessments that involve things like developing short videos. Yeah, it's more biased towards those kind of more practical forms, and I'll tell you why specifically as program leader on that. I think that examinations are a superficial form of testing knowledge in a highly artificial environment, and let's not waste our time putting students through stress for the sake of just testing rote learning, but rather let's give students the authentic opportunity, just like they would do in a workplace. You've now got 6 weeks to complete a project. Well, that's so much more authentic to what professionals are doing in their work lives than it would be. How many professionals actually turn up to work on a day-to-day basis and their boss surprises them with the next 90 minutes, you're not allowed to talk to anybody and you need to answer these 3 questions. It doesn't happen. So we don't heavily assess that way. Daisy, thanks for reading that out. I hope that answers the question for our visitor today.
Thank you. And just really, really quickly while you're still there, we had one as well that said, do optional modules not happen if there aren't enough people who choose the module?
That actually is correct, and we do asterisk the list of optional modules. There is a cut-off of a minimum of 5 students that register. I've been program leader for longer than I'd like to admit now. Of the 6 years that I've been program leader, I've never known what a single module to not run because it doesn't attract 5 students registering on it. We do update the suite of optional modules to make sure that they remain fresh and relevant to contemporary practice. So there is a chance, for example, if a member of staff who was the expert on crisis management is no longer around to deliver that, then we do reserve the right to withdraw that module and offer something alternative in its place. I hope that answers the question for you.
Perfect, thank you. So we are out of time now. I've just popped something in the chat, so if anybody didn't get their question answered, then please do go to our website. There's contact information and things on there if you have anything that you want to specifically ask. And there's also some other sessions going on, so if you wanted to join any of those, then the schedule's there too. But thanks so much to everybody who presented, and thanks everyone for joining, and we'll hopefully see you all soon. Thanks a lot, bye.
Bye-bye.